All right, let's talk about the single most powerful tool you'll ever own, your mind. Today, we're going to dive into how you can actually rewire your thinking, how to go from feeling like a prisoner of your own thoughts to becoming the architect of your own life. Let's get into it.
Wow. That really hits home, doesn't it? Everything you do, everything you feel, everything you believe, it all starts right here, inside your head. And look, this isn't just some fluffy, positive thinking stuff. This is about taking back the controls and training your mind to work for you instead of against you. You know that feeling, right, where it seems like your thoughts just happen to you? We get tangled up in every little doubt, every fear, every negative loop. But here's the thing. What if that's all just a habit? And the incredible news is that habits can be broken. You can absolutely train your mind, and that training begins with one simple, foundational step.
So step one is all about becoming the observer. It's about learning to watch your thoughts go by without getting swept away in the current. This simple act of awareness is where you start to take all your power back.
Okay, look at this. This seems like such a tiny change in wording, but it is a massive shift in power. On the left, reacting. The thought, I am not good enough, feels like a fact. You just believe it. You become it. But now look at the right side, observing. See that little phrase, I am having the thought that. That changes everything. It creates distance. Suddenly, you're not the thought, you're the one noticing the thought. And in that little space you just created, that's where all your freedom is. Just remember this, your thoughts are not facts. They're just mental events like clouds passing in the sky.
So once you can observe your thoughts, you can start to actively reprogram your inner voice. Why? Because your brain is constantly listening to what you tell it over and over. A simple swap, like changing I'm terrible at this to I'm learning how to get better at this, literally starts to rewire your brain to look for growth instead of limits. The words you use in your own head can either build your prison or hand you the key.
All right, let's build on that. Step 2 is all about curating your mindscape. This is where you get intentional about your mental environment. I mean, you can't expect to have a clear mind if you're constantly filling it with clutter. You've got to become the gatekeeper for your own focus.
I love this visual because it makes things so clear. Look at that breakdown. A huge 85% of life is stuff that's completely outside of our control. What other people do, what happened in the past, random events. Trying to control that massive chunk is just a recipe for exhaustion. But that little slice, that critical 15%, that's your response, your attitude, your actions. That's your turf. When you pour all your energy there, on the only thing you can control, you build incredible mental strength.
This concept of mental minimalism is an absolute game changer in our noisy world. It's about being ruthless with what you let in. Your mind becomes what you feed it. So you just have to ask yourself, with everything you consume, the news, the gossip, the endless scrolling, does this serve my peace? Does this help me grow? If the answer is no, it's gotta go. Okay, now we move into the proactive phase. Step 3, actively building resilience. This isn't about just waiting for life to get tough. It's about training in advance, building that mental muscle so you're ready when challenges do show up.
This question. We've all been here, haven't we? Something goes wrong, a setback hits, and this is our default. Why is this happening to me? It's a question that puts you squarely in the victim seat, and it keeps you stuck right there.
But what if we just flip the script? What if instead we ask this? What is this trying to teach me? Can you feel the power shift in that? You go from being a victim to being a student, from frustration to growth. It turns pain from a punishment into preparation. Because trust me, every single challenge has a lesson hidden inside of it if you're willing to look. This is such a great way to think about it. Your mind gets stronger every single time you choose the challenging thing over the comfortable thing. Waking up early, having that difficult conversation, facing a fear, every time you do something hard, you send a direct message to your brain that says, I'm in control. And that is how you build real, solid confidence.
Now here's one of the simplest, most powerful tools you have for building resilience, the gratitude reset. Think about it. It is literally impossible for your brain to feel grateful and fearful at the exact same time. They're on totally different channels. So when you feel yourself spiraling, just do this. 1, find a quiet moment. 2, name 3 specific things you're grateful for. Not just my family, but the way my daughter laughed this morning. And 3, actually pause and feel that shift from focusing on what's missing to focusing on what you have. It can change your state in under 60 seconds.
So we've covered these habits, but knowing them is one thing. Living them, well, that's the whole point. True mastery isn't some finish line you cross. It's a daily practice. It's how you choose to think and respond, day in and day out.
And it all comes down to this: emotional mastery. So what does that really mean? It's all about that little gap, that pause between something happening, the stimulus, and how you react to it, the response. Someone insults you, that's the stimulus. The gut reaction is to get defensive. But mastery is creating a 1-second pause to choose your response. It's not about being a robot and feeling nothing. It's about your emotions no longer controlling you. In that pause, that's where your power lives.
This table just breaks it down perfectly. The amateur mindset waits for motivation. You know, that fleeting feeling of being in the mood. The mastered mindset runs on discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline shows up every day. The amateur reacts, the master responds. And, maybe most importantly, when things go wrong, the amateur sees failure, while the master sees a lesson. It's the small, consistent things, especially on the days you don't feel like it, that truly rewire your mind.
And please remember this. This is a journey. Progress is not a straight line. You're going to have amazing days, and you're going to have days where you fall back into old patterns. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's just persistence. You'll keep circling back to the same lessons, but each time with a little more wisdom. So be kind to yourself through the process. That's how this works. Not in one day, but every day.
So let's bring this all home. It starts with becoming the observer of your thoughts. Then it's about curating what you let in and using challenges to get stronger. It's a practice. Because when you master your thinking, you master your energy. And when you master your energy, you master your life. You don't need a whole new world, you just need a new way of seeing it. So the final question is for you. What kind of world are you going to choose to build?